That feels so good. Oh, so smooth.
In this video, I'm going to be making a planing beam. Something I should have done a long time ago, but it's finally happening. Today it's going to get done. But first I got to clean up. I could go and get a saw to do that, cut that log to size, but I need an excuse to get this axe sharp, so now I have it. This stone, it's a natural stone, and it's a piece of sandstone I picked up while I was in India. It's a offcut of a piece of sandstone cladding. One of the things that struck me here in India is just how much stone is used. Like here, this is a little park in the local area, and look at these big sheets of sandstone. Now this stuff is cheap as chips. And it does a fabulous job for a coarse stone. And that's really all I want at this point. Oh, baby! That's why sometimes the best tool is an axe, not a saw. Much faster, much easier to sharpen. Oh, look at that, that's convenient. Now this is a German barking spud. I don't yet have a Japanese one. Not that I probably need it for this job. A few spots that are difficult. Some people will use a draw knife for this job, but I will never use a draw knife because draw knives are tools that need to be razor sharp. And bark has all sorts of horrid things in it. Sand and grit and God knows what else, which is really horrible for sharp tools. And oh, missed my toe. Draw knives are much harder to sharpen than barking spuds. So just like I used the axe just then instead of a saw, it's not just how quickly the job it'll do, but it's how quickly or how much time you have to spend maintaining the tool. And an axe and a barking spud, very simple tools to maintain, very quick to sharpen. There's a saw and a draw knife, take a fair bit of extra effort. Now, with Australian timbers, in particular, because of the insect fauna we have here, you really need to remove the bark because that helps the sapwood that the insects eat to resist them, because they don't like eating dry wood, and wood without the bark on it dries out and stays dry much more readily. But not just Australian woods, the same is true, well, pretty much of all wood, no matter what. It's just in Australia we've got a larger, more ferocious collection of particularly beetles that eat sapwood, although you get them all over the world. Just in Australia they're pretty quick. Now this is a super hard wood. This is grey box, round 1200 kilos per cubic metre when dry, yanker hardness around 13. You've got live oak, which is comparable, but I think that's about it. Lots of similar things in Africa, but other than that, very hard. So I can press down there, get started. Might be better if it was there. Plus I'm going to add the wood. Oh! That actual height could work well for short stuff. Now, just so you don't think I'm incredibly strong, this is Californian redwood, 440 kilos per cubic meter. Very lightweight wood, quite strong for its weight. Beautiful timber to work with. Like the beehive I'm working on over there is mostly Californian redwood. Got a whole bunch more of it over there. Got a whole bunch more of it over there, and I got more at the farm. One of my favourite woods to work with because it is so strong and so light, particularly for anything you have to pick up and carry because, like I said, 4 times now, it's so light. The colour is awesome as well. There's this knot here, which will help. So I think that might do on its own some. What I might do is just cut a bit of a notch. Now this axe isn't sharp enough for Californian redwood. Oh, this is awkward. Californian redwood being so soft, you really want sharp tools when you're using it. Okay, that's not great, but it'll do. This log of poplar, kids have been playing with and had it in the sand, so it's no good really for woodworking anymore. Ugh. I was planning to make some bowls or something out of this block, but one, I've left it quite long. It's all starting to check. Plus it's got all this dirt over it. So no, thank you. Now, there's a bit of wood. Another reason I didn't sharpen that axe so much, because I didn't have to be too concerned about it dealing with the sand that's all over this. What have I got around the place? That's iron bark. I really don't want to use that. Use that other piece of poplar, but that's in pretty good nick. Iron bark. Ooh, ash, definitely not using. Oh! No. Maybe I'll use that because it's probably got covered in sand as well. And that knot hanging off the side will be good. These are the little blighters. That's a beetle larva. You can actually eat them. Don't taste very nice though. Okay, I'm hollowing out the middle, so I'm leaving these 2 points. Makes it easier for the log to kind of dig into the ground. That way you don't have to get the whole thing flat, you just got to get those 2 points in the right position. You can't smell it, but I can. The quartz that is in this sand, when I'm hitting it with the axe, it's getting that metallic, burning, sparking smell. And pretty much with every strike, it's getting harder to cut because it's getting blunt. So not a job for any of my razor sharp tools. So I wasn't thinking before, I actually want a hard surface for it to butt into. Excellent. It does mean I'm gonna have to clean up this area so I can get past though. That's a bit annoying. But it's not flat. Oh, that feels good. Now, if I was using my Western planes, I'd pull my jointed plane out and I get this flat from one end to the other. Really kind of slick. But Japanese planes don't, like there is a type of plane that is, used for jointing. It's a little bit longer, but not a lot longer. So, question, for those of you guys who know a bit more about the use of Japanese tools than I do, what would be the best way to get this flat, dead flat, across? Not so much across. Across I do. Across I can do. It's the length. How do I get it flat, the length? I think that this planing beam fits with the sort of the real tradition of Japanese woodworking. Now why can I say that when all it is really is two sticks lashed together? In this case here are two blocks of wood roughly cut and this just plonked on. Like why does that fit within the tradition of Japanese woodworking? Well, back in the day, Japanese woodworkers were itinerant. They went from job to job to job. They didn't work in their own workshops so much as they worked at people's houses. They didn't have a planing beam. They made one when they got there, and it would literally be just smacked together to do the job. It wasn't a matter of, they didn't have planing beams where they were doing all these fussy joints to make them beautiful and pretty and examples of their craft. They saved that for the job they were doing, they were being paid to do. So, while this might look rough and ready and just thrown together, I think it is very much in the tradition of traditional Japanese woodworking. But if you disagree, let us know. Let's have a chat about it. But regardless, this isn't quite finished, but I'm so pleased with it already. And if you are into Japanese tools at all, I cannot recommend making a planing beam more highly. I've only used this for 30 seconds and already I'm seeing how good it is compared to the way I've been doing it on my medieval style workbench with a planing stop. The planing beam for the Japanese planes just works so much better. I'm not sure where you guys are all from, but this weekend I'm heading to Melbourne. Well, actually before the weekend. I'm going to head down Thursday, do a bit of prospecting in the forest, camp Thursday night, then head off to Melbourne for Friday morning, 10 o'clock, the Melbourne Wood Show. And I'm actually going to be on one of the stalls. I'm going to be helping out Christian from Japanese Tools Australia. So if you are interested in wood, you're interested in tools, come along because there's an incredible array of different